Welcome to today's presentation, The Tuskegee Airmen of World War II, presented by the National Abolition Hall of Fame and Museum, whose mission is to honor anti-slavery abolitionists, their work to end slavery and the legacy of that struggle, and strive to complete the second and ongoing abolition, the moral conviction to end racism. The armed forces in the United States were segregated during much of the 20th century, with Black American soldiers being assigned to separate units and often facing discrimination and prejudice. This segregation was a reflection of the broader societal segregation and discrimination of the time, and it meant that Black American soldiers were often given fewer opportunities for advancement and training, and were often subjected to unequal treatment and poor conditions. Despite these challenges, many Black American soldiers still proudly served their country and made significant contributions to the war effort. The segregation of the armed forces was eventually abolished in 1948 with the signing of Executive Order 9981, which mandated equal treatment and opportunities for all members of the armed forces, regardless of race. Despite segregation and unequal treatment, Black soldiers served in both the Civil War and World War I, despite facing much prejudice. During the Civil War, many Black soldiers joined the Union, despite being offered lower pay and being subjected to discriminatory treatment. However, these challenges did not cow them, as they fought bravely and made significant contributions to the war effort. Similarly, during World War I, Black soldiers were eager to serve their country and prove their worth. However, they were once again subjected to the segregation and discrimination within the armed forces, serving primarily in support roles such as digging trenches and facing unequal treatment and poor conditions. Upon returning home, they were also subjected to discrimination. In what will be called the Red Summer of 1919, returning Black veterans will be subjected to violence and even lynchings for, quote, crimes such as wearing their military uniforms or refusing to back down from an argument with a white man, which many whites saw as an affront that demonstrated Black veterans did not, quote, know their place. This was because many returning Black veterans had seen an increased awareness of the discrimination they were facing at home by fighting abroad. Nevertheless, their service and sacrifices helped to lay the foundation for greater equality in the military and in society as a whole. The Tuskegee Airmen were a group of Black American military pilots who fought in World War II. They were the first Black military aviators in the United States Army Air Forces. Though we often think of the pilots themselves, the term Tuskegee Airmen also incorporates the many navigators, bombardiers, mechanics, instructors, crew, nurses, cooks, and other personnel that served in their segregated squadrons. The Tuskegee Airmen program was established in 1941 at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama. Many of the Tuskegee Airmen trained at the Tuskegee Army airfields. The program was meant to train Black soldiers for non-combat roles in the military. Many people believed that Black soldiers would not be intelligent enough to serve in active combat roles that required skills, such as flying a plane. However, the program went on and began training Black aviators to fly planes. While training, they faced many challenges, including discrimination from both their fellow soldiers and their instructors. This was unsurprising, given the state of U.S. race relations. In the midst of World War II, when Americans were fighting fascism abroad, Black Americans were being oppressed by Jim Crow laws in their own home. Every day, life was segregated, and Black Americans were not allowed to partake in the same entertainment or enjoy the same public spaces as their white counterparts. During World War II, the Tuskegee Airmen were deployed to various theaters of war, including Europe and North Africa. They were tasked with protecting bombers and other aircraft during missions, and they quickly proved their worth. They had a remarkable record of losing less bombers to enemy fire than any other squadrons, and they were highly respected by their fellow soldiers for their bravery and skill in the air. Of the total 992 pilots that trained, from 1941 to 1946, 355 were deployed overseas and 84 lost their lives. Though the numbers may seem small, they demonstrated the extent of talent, skill, and bravery that the United States was missing out on by excluding Black Americans from the war effort. Therefore, in addition to their military accomplishments, the Tuskegee Airmen were also trailblazers in the fight for racial equality. They helped to break down barriers and change public perceptions of Black Americans, and they paved the way for future generations of minority military pilots. Despite their achievements, The Tuskegee Airmen did not receive the recognition they deserved until many years after the war. It was not until 2007 that they were collectively awarded the Congressional Gold Medal for their service and sacrifice. In conclusion, the Tuskegee Airmen were a group of brave and talented Black American military pilots who fought in World War II. Despite facing discrimination and prejudice, they distinguished themselves as skilled and capable pilots. They were trailblazers in the fight for racial equality and paved the way for future generations of minority military pilots. The Tuskegee Airmen will always be remembered as heroes who inspired change and fought for a more just and equal world at home and abroad. Thank you for watching today's presentation. Please help us by completing a brief survey at the link on your screen and also in the video description. Your feedback will help NAHOF receive funding and help plan future projects. Additionally, please contact NAHOF with any questions or comments or if you're interested in learning more about the organization. Don't forget to follow us on social media, and we hope to see you at our next presentation. Thank you.